Hey guys, Coffee Cranks here, and today I'm back with another video on Path of Exile. For those of you who don't know, this was my very first league playing solo self-found mode, and I was quite happy with certain things. I was really enjoying my time away from trade and away from all that noise, but I was getting more and more frustrated with certain aspects of solo self-found, and last night on my stream I practically rage quit and I transferred both my character and my stash tabs into the trade league. So this is of course a bit of a rant, but also I did want to state the reasons behind my decision and why I think solo self-found is not as good as I wished it was. Reason number one, getting a 6-link. Getting a 6-link was quite a frustrating experience for me, and I actually have another video on that I'm going to link in the description below. There are certain builds in this game that can exist comfortably for a long time or maybe even forever without having a 6-link. However, most builds, I would argue, need access to a 6-link, and ideally until they get to red tier maps. Normally, the way it goes in a trade league is you finish the campaign, let's say you have maybe 5 to 10 chaos orbs, and then you accumulate some currency while running white, maybe even yellow tier maps, and by the time you reach red tier maps, you absolutely have currency enough to buy you a 6-link, whether it's a tabula rasa or maybe a corrupted 6-link. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but getting a random 6-link drop in this game until the point where you really start juicing your maps is kind of unlikely. Now, in solo self-found, people don't normally just rely on RNG to get a 6-link. They actually spec into certain league mechanics and try to farm those. Now, I did try a lot of different strategies to obtain a 6-link, and again, I do talk about this in the video that I'll link in the description. But the one that actually worked for me was getting 9 humility cards and trading them in for a tabula rasa. And of course, the main issue with tabula rasa is that it has absolutely no properties except being a 6-link. So it has no resistances, no armor, and no evasion. So while tabula rasa may be reliably obtainable, it's still a crappy 6-link, and you will probably want to replace it with something better as soon as possible. Reason number 2. Just because something is target farmable doesn't mean that you will get it, or at least that you will get it within a reasonable amount of time. A lot of uniques are target farmable, however, to farm them, you might have to spend days and sometimes weeks. And the worst part is that you spend weeks farming the item that is 1 chaos orb in the trade league. Reason number 3. So most items can be target farmable, however, there are items that cannot. For example, if you play in Poison SRS like I am, you might want the Covenant, which is a drop-only unique. The problem with drop-only uniques is that all of them have different tiers, so it's not as likely to get Mage Blood as it is to get Bramble Jack. There's actually a wiki page that lists the rarity tiers for most uniques, and I will link it in the description so you can check it. Just keep that in mind if you play in a build on SSF that's heavily relying on some unique that's drop only and is very rare. Now, reason number 4 is more like a combination of previous reasons and the source of my biggest frustration in solo self-found. Time does not always equal result. So you could be running content for days and never get anything out of it, which is very different from the trade league where you would run a certain number of hours per day and you would get a certain number of divine orbs, and then you can buy stuff with those divine orbs. But in solo self-found, you could be getting the same amount of divine orbs. However, because you cannot buy anything, these divine orbs will be completely useless. Reason number 5. Because you have crappy gear, you tend to die more easily. And I know some people don't care about that whatsoever, but personally I feel really bad if I keep dying from the same things because my gear is not good enough. And that never happens in Trade League to me past a certain point because I'll just get so many upgrades that my defenses will be really strong and I will never die from random one-shots. Reason number 6, you cannot anymore convert level 20 active skill gems together with 1 gem cutter's prism into level 1 20% quality gems. Now this is not quite SSF specific, however in trade you can buy a bunch of GCPs and you can quality your gems pretty easily, and after a certain point in the league the prices for GCPs drop, so it's not that big of a deal. I ran into an issue where I even leveled in power to level 3, but I didn't get a 2120 gem, because to do that you need 2020 gems and then you want to corrupt them either in the temple or you want to use a Vaal orb. You could of course run lab for that, but personally I'm not a big fan of that method, so it's not for everybody. Reason number 7 might even resonate with people in Trade League, because I was thinking about that long before I started playing SSF, and that is the currency conversion. So there is no way to convert certain currencies into certain currencies. Yes, you can turn jewelers into fusings, but for example, you cannot turn fusings into chaos orbs. Case in point, I was trying to 6-link the Covenant that I accidentally dropped in the map, and for that you need 1500 fuses if you want to use the benchcraft. I was missing maybe 100 or 200 fuses, and it took me forever to get them, because I converted all my currencies that I could convert into fuses, and there were a bunch of currencies that I had a surplus of, but I had no way to turn them into fuses, and it was really frustrating. Reason number 8 is more like a soft reason, so some people might argue that's the actual Solar Self-Found experience, and that is obtaining the crafting materials. So let's say you have a big crafting project and you need a bunch of essences for it, so you would be running the essence mechanic and you would get a lot of these essences, and in one evening they would all be gone and you still don't have your item. That's a very real situation for Solar Self-Found. Now, this is more like I can obtain this, but I have to spend a lot of time doing that. And I think I underestimated how tedious it is to farm the same thing over and over again. And maybe I would like to run some other league mechanics, but I just can't because I need specific crafting materials from the specific league mechanic. So reasons number 9 and 10 kind of go hand in hand together. Reason number 9 is sustaining favorite maps, and reason number 10 is sustaining consumables that you spend on that map. Normally people complain about sustaining favorite maps even in trade, but I gotta say from my personal experience, if you juice the map enough, then you will get more maps out of it than you invest into it. However, that requires a very strong build and the ability to run the juiced map. But in Solar Self-Found, like I said, you potentially have crappy gear and you cannot really juice the map to the level that you would like to juice it. So you end up not getting enough maps out of it, and then you just cannot sustain your favorite map, and you will have to run some crappy maps that you don't want to run with terrible layouts. The consumables are again an issue, because let's say you want a specific scarab for Delph and you're just not gonna get it deterministically in Solar Self-Found. In Trade League it's not a problem because you can just go on trade and they super cheap, so you just buy a bunch of them, like 200, and then you can just farm maps for days with that scarab. For example, I found it extremely difficult to get enough Delph Sulfite for constant delving. I didn't get a lot of Chayula breach stones, or for that matter other breach stones, so yeah, that wasn't a good experience either. So that's it for the reasons, and let me know what you think in the comments below. What was your experience with Solar Self-Found? Or maybe you never played Solar Self-Found but are considering it and have some reservations about it. If you ever quit Solar Self-Found and went back to trade, what made you do this? Or maybe you still keep playing Solar Self-Found. How do you deal with all the frustrations and limitations of that mode? And don't forget that I stream at twitch.tv/coffeecranked, so make sure to stop by for a chat. So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And soon I'm planning to release the final video on my Poison SRS build, doing some mapping, bossing, and just generally showcasing it. So stay tuned and stay sane, exiles.